Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk, where we talk all things sports. Tonight, we have a very special announcement that me and Leon would like to talk about, and then we're going to get into the NBA free agency frenzy with Kevin Durant and Rudy Gobert. So let's get started.
Welcome to Jasmine Pollock's First Impression Sports Talk, the fastest growing sports talk show in the country. And now, here's your host, Jasmine Pollock.
Welcome back to Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk. And to kick the night off, we're going to talk about Rudy Gobert being traded to, let's bring Jeremiah in, let's talk about it, being traded to the Timberwolves. So Jeremiah, let's start off. So we're in the free agency frenzy right now. We're trying to see what top players are going where, who's being traded to whom. And we find out that Rudy Gobert has been traded to the Timberwolves as of last week. So what does that say about what's going on in Utah? Because Utah was always that team that was always in the top 3 seeds in the Western Conference. But for the past couple of years, they've been very disappointing in the playoffs. So what does that say what's going on in Utah, plus their coach not being there anymore?
Well, when it comes to Utah, I think they're starting over and starting fresh. It was either going to be between Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell. And I think that Utah did the right thing of choosing Donovan Mitchell. A very, younger player, but also can spread the floor with his defense and also his offense. When it comes to Rudy Gobert, he is, like a great defensive player. He's been a defensive player for a couple of years, won a different awards. But at the same time, he becomes a liability when it gets to the playoffs, when a lot of teams play small ball. They don't really hit the paint. He can't cover the perimeter. So it's kind of question mark to me when they do trade him to the Timberwolves, because Utah got great assets when it came to the different trades. But at the same time, I just think that Gobert, he doesn't fit, like, especially in that offense, having Anthony Towns right there plus him, and they're still going to run into that same problem as he did when he was with Utah.
I agree with your sentiment, but I'll question this. To me, I'm glad Utah chose Donovan Mitchell over Rudy Gobert because Rudy Gobert to me has been very disappointing. He's a good player, big guy, but I haven't seen like what the hype that people have put him in. When him being traded to the Timberwolves is actually a better fit for him because I feel like there's going to be a lot of pressure off of him. You have Karl-Anthony Towns and you have Anthony Edwards there, and they have a lot of young talent up there in Minnesota. So I think the pressure is going to be off of him. So that way I think he's going to get bigger numbers. But far as him being a great defender, I do not think he's a great defender. Yes, he's gotten awards, but I do not put him over Giannis. I don't put him over any of those guys like that who have constantly come out and played stellar defense. Rudy Gobert can be had. And like you said, in the playoffs, when these teams go small ball, he is very questionable. So being with that said, Jeremiah, how does this new Timberwolves team look? After they went to the playoffs last year, they battled it out, and they had they haven't been in the playoffs since a very long time. And then you have people like Beverly, like I said, Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns, and now you add Rudy Gobert. So what are the expectations for the Timberwolves this season?
Well, when it comes to the Timberwolves, I have them, kind of making the play-in tournament again, or maybe just squeeze in there in the playoffs. But at the same time, you threw a lot of players away for just Rudy Gobert. And I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to need that big bench to come in there and make a big factor. Because although Patrick Beverly, he has his antics and everything else, but he was always under a lot of the people's skin. He was like that energizer for their team, talk that talk and walk that walk when it comes to Anthony Towns and also Edwards as well. And with Rudy Gobert just going there, it's just always going to be a question mark to me. Is he going to fit inside that whole offense? We know what he could do defensively inside the paint. But at the same time, it's such a fast-moving game, and you have so many young players. You have to be up to speed when it comes to everything like that.
For sure. Also, not to mention, I heard some comparisons of them being compared to the Twin Towers, Robinson and Duncan when they was playing with the Spurs. Stop with the comparisons with that. That's not even close to what those Twin Towers were back in the day with the Spurs. But I do think it's a plus for Minnesota, just them coming off of even though they lost in the playoffs, but it was just a step forward. They're heading in the right direction. They have a lot of young talent. The young talent is getting healthy. The young talent is getting a lot of experience. I think they got experience, but adding somebody like Rudy Gobert is good. I'm not saying he's a great player, but he's a good, decent role player that can get you some buckets here and there, that can get you a couple of blocks to defend here and there and move his feet a little bit. But I still feel like it was better for Utah to keep Donovan Mitchell, because Donovan Mitchell is their number one guy. To me, he is a young star in this league, and I just want to see a lot more help, and I want to see a lot more direction when it comes to Utah. So speaking of Utah, Jeremiah, let's look at them now. Being that Rudy Gobert is gone, what does this Utah team look like now that Rudy Gobert is gone? This is Donovan Mitchell's team solely. The coach is not there anymore. What is going to happen with this Utah team?
I think for when it comes to Utah, it makes them to open up the floor even more. Having those different assets that they got off of the trade, you get to have yourself some good size when it comes to back-to-back shooting guards coming in, but also players that can play off the ball and also can make their own shots. The problem with Gobert, he couldn't really make his own shots when you would throw it down low. So having great assets of fast speeds and a new direction of their offense, it can change them from being, just an alley-oop team to just, a sniper team. You're going to have this guy you got to worry about, the next guy you have to worry about. And not to mention, I think they got 2 or 3 draft picks off of it. So getting those, it can be a great future, to have those in the chamber, just in case if you want to get yourself another big that's very versatile to do a thing that a Joel Embiid can do, or Giannis can do, or more things of that nature, because they got first round picks for him. So, and those things are a big deal actually going down the road.
We will definitely see what's going to happen with this Utah team. There's still some alarming concerns, because I think the direction of the team is where the team is headed. It's not in a good direction. Of course, them losing their coach, then the playoff records that they've had these past couple of years, it's been very questionable, because they have been a team that's been very dominant in the regular season, but not dominant you hear the fireworks going off, not dominant in the playoffs. So it's a lot of questionable things going on. But we're going to head to a short break. We're going to hear from our sponsors, Rent the Runway, Falling from the Sky, and the Smoke Shack. And then right after the break, we are going to have a special announcement with me and Leon Thomas. So we will be right back shortly for more sports talk.
Renting is everything. It's style at your doorstep, off the runway, and into your closet. It's every trend you've been dying to try, and every designer you've yet to discover. It's wearing it your way every time and making it count everywhere you go. It's never worrying about what to wear, because something new is always coming your way. That's why renting is everything. New styles, top designers, all for a flat monthly fee. Start your subscription at renttherunway.com.
Slow roasted over hickory fire and pulled by hand. This is the way pit pork has always been done. Pulled pork lovers, rejoice. The smoky old days are back at the Smoke Shack. From the creative team that brought you The Browning Project and Dead by Morning comes a new thriller that will change the way you look at white-collar crime forever. Falling from the Sky.
You're watching Jasmine Pollock's First Impressions Sports Talk. Be sure to join Jasmine every week for great conversation on the NBA, NFL, and a wide variety of sports topics. To see past episodes of First Impression Sports Talk, go to YouTube and search First Impressions Sports Talk. You can connect with Jasmine on LinkedIn by searching Jasmine Pollock. And now, back to more First Impressions Sports Talk.
Welcome back, everyone, to First Impression Sports Talk. And with me, I have Leon Thomas because we have a special announcement. Leon, let's get started about it.
Yeah, big announcement, folks. Listen, for about the last month, our team at the Leon Thomas Group, you can learn more about us by going to the leonthomasgroup.com. We've been producing a show on Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. The name of that show is 60 Minutes in Black America. That show is part of the Black USA News Network, and you can learn more about Black USA News by going to blackusa.news. So Jasmine and Jeremiah and some others that work with us, we've been producing the show. And Michael Haney, the host of the show, is very pleased with the work we've been doing. He's built a good relationship with a lot of the folks on our team. So about a week and a half ago, he says, I'm not going to be able to host the July 10th show. How about Jasmine doing it? And I'm like, yes. That is great. So on this coming Sunday, that's July 10th at 6 o'clock, Jasmine will be the host for a special edition of 60 Minutes in Black America. And because she's all things sports, it will be a special sports edition of 60 Minutes in Black America. Jasmine, you got to be excited about that.
I'm super excited. Just being able to being a part of that. I want to thank Michael so much for giving me the opportunity to be able to take over his show on July 10th. I'm really excited to bring you guys sports. Yeah,
it's going to be a fun time. So tell me, what are you going to talk about? Let's give the viewers a slight tease of, now this is a 1 hour show versus a 20 or 30 minute one like you're doing now. So we got to have some topics out there. What are your plans? What are you going to talk about?
Yes, definitely. I'm definitely going to talk about the NBA free agency frenzy. That's never going to stop. There's more conversations going to be had about it. Just who we're going to see, who's going to be traded, who's going to sign where. Of course, we're going to talk about the NFL and Black ownership. We see more Black owners in the league and just more Black coaches also in the league. So I'm really excited about that. There's going to be a lot. And then a special segment called Free for All, where I'm going to ask a question and all of my guests I'm going to put it out there and you're going to have an argument and you guys have your takes. So I'm excited about that.
All right. Free for all.
Yes.
Yeah. I like it. And folks, that's going to be Sunday. That's this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. You can see the show on the Black USA News Facebook page. But if you want to get the direct link to it, we're going to have it on Jasmine's website. It'll be on her website starting on Thursday. And Jasmine's website is jasmineonsports.com. So go there on Thursday. Tell all your friends. Tell even the folks that you don't like. But we need you to support Jasmine on Sunday. So you can go to Jasmine's website and find the link there. It's going to be a really, really
Epic.
good show. Looking forward to it. And so, Jasmine, congratulations to you. This is something really big. And but I know you're going to, what's the term? Knock it out of the park. And is that it? Yeah, you're going to do that. So everyone's so happy for you and proud of you and looking forward to a great show on Sunday.
Looking forward to it too, Leon. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to back out and go do some production work. Here I go. See ya. Bye.
See ya. Yes, and that is the big announcement of the week. I'm really excited. But also, if you want to be a guest on my show, if you want to keep up with all my past shows, you can definitely check out my website, jasmineonsports.com, and just continue to support and stay tuned to July 10th. It's going to be really, really fun. So to wrap up the final segment of the night, Jeremiah, let's talk about it. Kevin Durant wanting out of Brooklyn. We talked about this before, but it's just things keep getting bigger and bigger. Like, Golden State is open for a reunion, him going to Miami, him wanting to go to a team with 2 All-Stars. What is your take on Durant wanting all of these things and wanting out of Brooklyn?
Well, when it comes to Durant wanting those things, I just he needs to live out his contract when it comes to being faithful and loyal to a team that actually took years in for him. Like when it comes to, I feel like he's really obligated to live up to what they really gave him, which is that big contract extension. It was about a year ago, and it hasn't even been like a whole year yet, but it's been months so that they gave him that big contract of a 4-year extension, and now he wants to be out and leaving. To me, I think it's him just running from the grind of having his own and then proving that he can to the next level. Trying to go to number one team recently, the both number one teams, this and everything else. It really just seems like where's your goal? Like, where's your hunger for like the competition and everything else? It's like you're just bailing and just say, okay, I'm just going to just not be a bus driver, but I'm just riding on the bus. Although I am a great caliber of a player to maybe do it myself, but he just hasn't proved that.
100% correct. I don't disagree with anything you just said. And to add to that more, this ends the conversation of him being the best player, him competing with LeBron. I'm done hearing that. This man, everywhere, we want to have these comparisons of LeBron versus KD. Okay. Everywhere LeBron has went, he has won a championship. Everywhere Durant has went, he has not won a championship. And the only team he won a championship with was already stacked and was already a super caliber team. You go to Brooklyn, not only did you have Kyrie Irving, you also had James Harden. Epic failure. And not to mention, Kyrie had his off-the-court issues. He was wreaking havoc on the Brooklyn Nets, and they're tired of him too. But still, that was arguably the most gifted offensive team we've ever seen in NBA history, with a James Harden, with a Kyrie Irving, with a Kevin Durant. And you could not get the deal done. There's no excuse for Kevin Durant. Brooklyn gave you everything. They gave you everything. And they had good enough role players that I feel that could have competed, even though their defense was horrible. But I don't want to hear of him wanting to go to another team with 2 other All-Stars when you had 2 All-Stars with you in Brooklyn. So what does that say about Kevin Durant's competitive nature? What does that say about his hunger to win a championship on his own? Everyone in this league that has won a championship that is currently playing, when you look at Steph Curry, when you look at even Kawhi Leonard, when you look at LeBron James, even when you look at Giannis, they stuck with the team that they were with. They built whatever they built, and they won it the hard way. Durant wants the easy way out because he does not have the confidence that I feel to lead a team to a championship. You can't put Kevin Durant on that Cleveland Cavaliers team and expect them to go all the way LeBron carried that team. You can't expect them to do that. You can't expect the Lakers team with Kevin Durant. I don't even think Kevin Durant could have carried the Lakers team the way the Lakers team is constructed right now. Kevin Durant is becoming what you guys thought he was what you guys thought he was going to be opposite of. If Kevin Durant is such a phenomenal player, which he is, he's offensively gifted, but if he is the best player gets the job done. He doesn't run from the moment. He doesn't run from the challenge. And when you look at the East to me is not as stacked as the West. So why are you running? What are you running from? What you need to do, you had a bad couple of years that didn't go your way. I do think Kyrie needs to leave because I think Kyrie has been the bigger issue in Brooklyn. But Durant, you need to stay there and allow the team to build around you and develop. You have Ben Simmons. You have Patty Mills is still there, I believe. You got teams that you still have players that are still there that can play. You need to stay there and live out your contract and be better. And it's not to say that you can't be. It's not to say that you aren't. But what we've seen from Kevin Durant these past years without Golden State, that is becoming the narrative. You need Golden State. So Jeremiah, being that with all that said, there has been reports of Golden State being open to reuniting with him. What are your thoughts to that? I don't think it'll ever happen. I'll be very shocked if that happened. But what do you think is going to happen?
Well, when it comes to actually him going to Golden State, I think it's just going to be like that little brother, that's just be like, I can go out and do it on my own, coming right back to the bigger brother and just being like, okay, I need you back again. When it comes to Durant going back to Golden State, he is a great athlete and everything else, but just to me, only to me, it's just going to be hard for me to give him the first ballot as a Hall of Fame, because it's like you have to do this stuff literally on your own. I can understand, going there, you maybe have some pressure to be like, okay, this is a big move. But at the same time, you had a chance to leap out and make a name for yourself, to be the man on your own. And then you're running right back to the team that was already, a 72 and 10 team. And they were on the verge right there at the finals. All they just came short when it came to playing against LeBron and Kyrie and them. And not to mention, you lost a 3-1 lead to them when it came to that Western Conference final. And it's those games right there that could have solidified you to get to that next level, to just be like, okay, this guy's just going right back to the team that, helped him to get that ring. Or I would just say, to save his leg.
Not to mention also Kevin Durant. This is where my thoughts are. Him going to Golden State disqualifies him from being in the top 10 all time. I have Curry. If we're talking about an all-time list, I still don't know where I would put Curry. I'm still, trying to calibrate where I want to put him. But I would have Steph Curry over Durant. And the reason why I said that, do I think Steph Curry is better than Durant? No. As an overall player, what Durant has done, I don't think he's a better overall player than Durant, but just the legacy, the stats, all of the, the intangibles that happened. Curry stayed with that team in Golden State and he won. Now we can say though the 2 rings that he won with Kevin Durant can be questionable, because you wanted that guy to come over to help you, because you guys knew you guys could not beat LeBron again and again and again. But I still have to give the nod to Curry as the better player all time, far as resume, far as legacy, because he stayed with that team and he didn't run from a challenge. Durant, where are you going to go? What are you going to do differently? You're going to do the same things the same way. Like, there's nothing different about Kevin Durant. We know he can score 40 points on 11 to 15 shot shooting. We know he can do that. But it's just, where is his hunger? Where is the backbone? Where is this, I've had enough. Let me carry this team and let me show people that I am the best player without having to have another all-star beside me. And even when you had a Kyrie Irving and a James Harden, you still couldn't get the job done. It's atrocious to me, but that doesn't take away his talent, because he's still a very talented player. He's still a very valuable player in this league. But Durant, I'll give you a bold prediction, and mark me on this, everyone. It's going to be very hard to see Kevin Durant win another championship. I think we are witnessing a slow this is what we're seeing from Durant. Far as legacy, I don't think his play is going to change, but I don't know where he could possibly go where he thinks he's going to win the way he did with Golden State, because Golden State was a whole machine. It was a system. They knew how to develop players. They knew how to rotate the ball. A lot of other teams do not know how to do that. And not to mention, you have other teams already who have a number 1 guy already. So Durant, at this point, you're just going around, okay, I'm going to shack up with this person, I'm going to shack up with that person. And you haven't said, you know what? I'm going to stick with this team. I'm going to stick it out, even though these past couple years have not gone in my favor, but I have to stick it out for the sake of my legacy. Because right now, his legacy has been in jeopardy in my book, but some people may think his legacy still up in the air. He can still redeem himself. But Durant, I just I don't know what to say about him anymore. He's still a talented player. He's still a phenomenal scorer. But far as legacy, Durant's legacy has been in shambles since he signed that deal to go to Golden State.
I do agree, because just look at the caliber of right now, just looking at the future. Right now, Kevin Durant, you are at your prime right now. We're talking about at a prime right now. People have to understand that. It's to a point right now, you coming off your 2 champions ago, and not to mention you are the face of this whole franchise, not Kyrie, because you are the best player on your team. And it's just all about creating authority. And I think it's just like what you said, that is what Kevin Durant lacks throughout his whole career. Having a lot of people around him to keep them accountable. He did the same thing when it came to OKC. He left Westbrook without actually, confronting him, communicating with him, telling him, you have to change in order for us to win. When it came to that argument he had with Golden State, he deflected and had to leave the year afterwards because things got a little rough and he wasn't feeling the same love. You have to speak up and you have to be like, okay, I'm the best player on this team, although you got drafted. But it's all about making your voice known and also being a better leader and having that authority. And at the last, at Brooklyn right now, you have Kyrie right here. He took his different days off when it came to the year before last, and he just took time off to just be with his family or just go to birthday parties and everything else. When you needed him the most, he didn't show up at a lot of different times. You have to keep him accountable. So for going on for his future and everything else, he is going to, have that pressure, and he's going to struggle more and more to have things accountable, because you can't just ball. If it was all just about balling, like I said before in a show before, you would have still been at the same place that you were, which is OKC, if it was all about balling. You would have still stayed in Golden State if it was all about balling. But now it's, I want to leave. I want to find better. I just want to be in a place where it just has 2 stars to where I don't have to take on to that pressure.
Absolutely. So we'll definitely see where Durant lands, who the Brooklyn could be traded to, and definitely we're also watching where Kyrie's gonna go. There's the talks with him and the Lakers pairing up, and LeBron and him reuniting is a very, very big topic of discussion right now. So that wraps up tonight's show. Thank you, Jeremiah, for being a guest always. It's always good to talk sports. And not to mention, remember, guys, July 10th, this Sunday, you will catch me on 60 Minutes in Black America to talk all things sports. We're going to talk more about the NBA free agency frenzy. We're going to talk about the NFL and Black ownership and Black coaching. And we're going to have a free-for-all. I'm not going to say what the topic is yet, but I'm just going to throw it out there for the guests to go back and forth and go at each other. So I'm really excited about that. You can also catch the show on JasmineOnSports.com, my personal website, and you can keep up with what I'm doing. You can keep up with my past shows and just staying updated. And if you want to be a guest on my show, definitely check out my website. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, Jay, for the production. And thank you, audience, for constantly being supportive and being there for me and keeping up with what I'm doing. That wraps up tonight's show. See you on Sunday, talking all things sports. June 10th, 6 p.m. And you catch me next Monday, Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk, as always, at 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night, everybody.